Previously on Season 1 of the 9-month cruise, the hierarchy system caused divides among the passengers.
And she needs to wear her pin badge so people know she is a pinnacle status member.
The drama continued as things took a turn for the worst.
There was indeed a fistfight on board, and it had to be broken up. There was 4 people involved.
And passengers started leaving the cruise feeling like their dream vacation was actually a nightmare.
And when I say I'm mad, I am fucking pissed off.
Now let's see how the drama continues on Season 2 of the 9-month cruise.
Okay, I have seen the comments. I do realize you want another update of the Ultimate World Cruise, okay? It's finally here. And trust me, I wasn't just ignoring it purposefully, it just did go through a bit of a phase where nothing was really happening. So unless you just wanted a new update video of me sat here saying stuff like, the ship is currently on the sea, then it wouldn't have been good. But it does now feel like some life has been brought back into the Ultimate World Cruise. It felt like it went through a bit of like a slow period with a lot of people getting off, and then it was a bit of a period where there wasn't that many people on the ship, but a lot more people have now entered the ship, so it really does feel like this is a bit of a Season 2. Now, also I've had a lot of comments asking when I'm gonna go on the ship. If you remember in one of my previous videos talking about this whole cruise, I did say that there is a chance that I would go on the ship and then maybe like document it for you all. And again, I haven't just been ignoring that, I have been actually looking into it, and I think I've maybe found a date that I'm looking towards. Nothing is booked now, so I'm not saying it's 100% going to happen. I don't want to get people's hopes up. But you might have noticed recently I've been doing a few brand deals here and there, and that money is going to be going to this experience, hopefully. And I think I found a date. Hopefully it should be next month. Again, it's not 100%, so don't hold me to it. But I noticed next month there's a segment starting in China, meaning I would have to travel to China, get picked up from there, and then I think it goes through Japan and Singapore. That is currently what I'm looking at. And again, no promises here because it is very expensive, but I think it's doable, and that is currently what I'm looking at. I just need to sort a few things, then potentially it might happen. And if that does happen, I just want to say thank you for supporting the sponsors on this channel, because that is a big reason why this is possible. But secondly, if it does happen, please let me know in the comment section down below, would you want me to upload multiple videos on the cruise, maybe like on a daily basis of that day, or would you rather me film my normal videos while I'm on the cruise, and then once I'm finished with it, I can compile like a full video of the cruise, all the stuff that I filmed throughout like the week or so that I've been on there. Yeah, let me know in the comment section down below, and without further ado, let's get into the new updates. Right, so I think one update that we need to talk about is the fact that Christian Hull is now officially on the cruise. This is Christian Hull here, if you aren't aware. He's a TikToker with pretty much 2 million followers. He was covering the cruise for a long time. He then decided he was going to go on it. A lot of people seem to really like Christian. They were very happy to see him on. And even though he's only been on for a few days, we've got a lot of information out of him, but also it seems like he's having a pretty rough time.
I'm gonna be sick. I just had to excuse myself because it's quite pretty rocky and I think I'm gonna throw up. Oh shit.
Yeah, so as you can see, he managed to go on a day where the weather wasn't exactly great, and I've seen a lot of people talking about this day who were on the cruise, saying that this was a very sickly day. Is that a word? Now, I'm not going to show all this video because he then does go to his room, into his bathroom, and then starts like potentially throwing up. You don't actually see anything, but you hear it. It's not very pleasant, but we'll just skip past that bit, shall we?
I feel so sick. These aren't helping. I had 2 bites of dinner and dinner was so delicious.
Yeah, this doesn't exactly fill me with hope with my experience on the cruise, or my potential experience, and I do get pretty sick. Like, I used to get like travel sick even in cars a lot. Nowadays I'm not so bad, but more specifically when I'm actually driving I'm not bad, but when I'm a passenger I still feel a little bit sick. So this might fuck me up. Now, Christian has also been going live on TikTok to talk about his experience, and I haven't managed to catch any of the live streams, but I've seen a lot of videos of people summarizing the live stream, some stuff that he's talking about, and there's a lot of stuff that we didn't know about. There's also some stuff that we did. One thing that we kind of weren't aware of, although it became slightly obvious in the videos themselves, is that apparently there are people on the ship that were purposely trying to make Mark Sebastian's life on the ship miserable. Now, it did seem like he was having a miserable time. He kept talking about how he wanted to leave, but apparently there was actually people that had like a vendetta against him.
Christian revealed in his live that there was an entire plot when Mark was on board to make his life completely miserable, that they were people actively planning his demise before he even got on board.
And here's the thing, when you just hear this information, it sounds pretty unlikely because why would people do that? But also, we have heard a stupid amount of times now that there genuinely are just people on the ship in a bit of a group that are just trying to make other people's lives difficult. And it does seem like it's these Pinnacle members, obviously not all of them, but it does seem like there's a group of Pinnacle members that really don't like the segmenters, and it just seems like they're doing everything in their power to make their life miserable for whatever reason.
So that explains why Mark had a really rough few days on board, because there were people who were actively out to get him.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think like why they would do that, and I guess maybe it was just because he was making these cruise videos and they were going viral. Like, he has definitely made the biggest cruise video so far in this situation, and I guess they just didn't like that. If they are the Pinnacle members, obviously they have been on a lot of cruises, they probably didn't like the fact that people were criticizing their crews, but they've just opened themselves up to more criticism if this story is true. Now, apparently Christian did go on to talk about the fact that there is a lot of entitlement on board, and there are a lot of people who are being left out based on their kind of like hierarchy status.
He says that there is a lot of entitlement happening amongst the people on board, and he feels like he can't truly be himself because he feels like everybody is watching him, and so he feels like he has to be extra polite and he can't really film a lot. He wants to film, but he feels like everybody has their eyes on him, and so he doesn't really know if he can fully be himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not a surprise to anybody that some people, and I do say some, but some people that can afford to pay like 100 grand on a cruise might be a bit entitled. Christian even went on to say that apparently there was an assault that literally happened in front of him. Now, you've got to bear in mind, he's only been on the cruise for like 2 or 3 days at this point, so the fact that this has already happened is mental, and it makes you think like what else has happened before he got on the cruise that we just haven't heard of.
He said there was a full-on assault on a passenger on board. He watched it happen right in front of him and nobody did anything. And he said that was crazy that this is just happening on board and nobody's talking about it. Full on assaults. And nobody did anything.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have much information on what, like, specifically happened here, but we have heard the stories about, like, multiple fights that have happened on the cruise at this point. So it's not too much of a surprise, but this literally happened a few days with him being on board. And also, it's not just the fact that he's only been there a few days, it happened right in front of him. The cruise is very big at the end of the day. So the fact that it happened within that first few days and right in front of him, it doesn't seem like that is just a massive coincidence. It maybe seems like this is happening a fair amount. And apparently there's a lot of stuff that's happening on the ship that he can't even tell us right now. He wants to wait till he gets off the ship to tell us for like his own safety, I guess. Which makes you think like, what the bloody hell is happening here?
But he said there's a lot of stuff that people are just keeping so hidden that's just going on in the open. He won't reveal it. We want the tea, Christian. Please tell us the tea. We live for the tea.
Now, one thing that apparently has been happening on the cruise that we weren't aware of up until the last few days is that apparently, and I mean, I don't think many people will be surprised to hear this cruise is getting turned into a documentary. And in fact, they're literally filming it right now.
It's official. There is going to be an Ultimate World Cruise documentary. And it's being filmed at this moment in time. And it's been getting filmed for the last few weeks. They were in talks for a few weeks, but it is confirmed.
So that does make me think, I wonder if the reason why it seemed like things were getting quiet the past few weeks and there wasn't too much to talk about is because they're not allowed to talk about it, or maybe some people aren't allowed to talk about it on TikTok because it's going to be mentioned in the documentary. I don't know, I'm just assuming here. But apparently there is going to be a documentary on it. I have no idea what platform it's going to be on or how big it's going to be, but apparently it is getting filmed, which to me is hilarious because this just started off as a bit of like TikTok drama, right? It blew up on TikTok, people were a bit confused over the fact that people would want to spend 9 months on a cruise. Then when the cruise actually happened, it turns out that there was maybe a bad bunch on there that were causing drama. And now we've got to this point where apparently there is a documentary currently being filmed. I mean, we made the comparison to the Fire Festival in the very first video we did covering this topic, I believe, and it seems like there's a lot more similarities than we thought because there is currently going to be a documentary. But apparently, it seems like from some other videos that I've seen, there is one member of staff that people aren't too happy about, and it's someone who works behind like the bar or serves coffee or something like that. And I want to show this video in particular of someone on the cruise talking about this person.
Alright, so today we had to do the Australian immigration thing on board, which was handy dandy. After that, we went to the cafe, because I usually head there. However, there's this one guy who really hates me, usually tries to avoid me, and it's just not a pleasant experience at all. So this time I sent Ina in to order for me, trying to make it smoother, more happy for everyone. And he literally didn't put my order through, and then, we had to go back. And then we're like, oh, hey, you forgot the order, so... And he's like, no.
Okay, so apparently there was someone who's just refusing this guy's order, and I've heard multiple people talk about this kind of situation. I don't know if it's specifically with this guy in particular, but apparently they're refusing his order for whatever reason. They don't like him, he says, but he then goes on to show either his friend or partner, I don't know, I'm sorry, but he goes on to show someone else who's in the room with him who talks about the situation further.
I think it's really unacceptable in our service industry. He's very always unhappy about us and unhappy about his job. Then he shouldn't be there. You know what? I literally think I talked to the manager because, I mean, we're on vacation. We don't want that attention.
Yeah, so as you just heard her say, she says that if this guy doesn't like his job, he shouldn't be taken out on notice. She even says that she's potentially going to talk to the manager because the guy is acting like a child. And yeah, this was only like a week ago, and I haven't heard many updates since. So I don't really know what's happening with this. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, there are a lot of people who started off on this cruise who have now left because the first segment finished. And one of the people that we have shown consistently throughout these videos is a TikToker called UK Secret Travel, because they have spoke to a lot of the passengers on board, and then she goes and kind of talks about it on her videos. And I do kind of trust what she's saying, because a lot of the stuff that she said in these videos has turned out to be true. She was one of the first people to talk about like the potential fight on board. Then we actually heard it from someone who was actually on the ship. But obviously I don't know 100% because I'm not there, but she has made a video saying that she spoke to a bunch of the people who have now left the ship, and they spoke about how it was one of the worst experiences they've ever had.
So obviously, as we all know, they've got the 9-monthers, but the segmenters have been getting on and off throughout the last 3 months. I have been inundated with messages from segmenters since they've got off the Ultimate World Cruise, and they've all said that there are a lot of things going on behind the scenes that have not been made public. The main thing that people are saying is that it was the worst cruise of their lives and the worst experience they've ever had. And this comes down to the people on board.
God, I just wonder how bad these people actually are on board, because we've heard it so many times now that these people are horrendous, right? And if there's people who have been on multiple cruises before and they're saying that this is the worst cruise I've ever been on specifically because of the people on board, it must be bad. I just wish we had some more specifics. Obviously, we have heard some specifics that have happened, but there seems to be a lot more that we haven't heard of as well for this to be so bad.
One person has even messaged me and said that she's had to seek therapy since she's come home because other guests were just treating her with absolute disrespect.
Bloody hell.
And she felt like she couldn't say this while she was on board out of fear that the other passengers are going to know who she is and target her. And this is because the cruise went so viral in December that there was all eyes on this boat.
Yeah, I am really curious to kind of see what is happening here. I mean, Christian Holtz just went on the cruise and he's saying something very similar. Now, to end this video, I do just want to show a TikTok that I feel like I have to show because it wouldn't be one of my Ultimate World Cruise videos without a cancellation.
So our tour in the Great Barrier Reef was canceled. It was canceled because there's crazy weather, crazy winds, and a storm. So I want to show it to you. Look, here's the wind.
Yeah, so as you can see, she's obviously complaining here, saying that the Great Barrier Reef was cancelled because of a storm, and she's saying that there isn't a storm. Now, it is hard to take anything away from this video because they're obviously not at the Great Barrier Reef currently, because it's been cancelled. So maybe the weather is worse there. Maybe it was planning on getting worse at the time of when they were supposed to be there. So it's hard to really tell just from this video specifically. But I also do find it hilarious that they would cancel something saying that the weather's bad just because they can't be asked. So I'm choosing to believe that. But yeah, in all seriousness, that is it for the video. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please leave a like down below, subscribe if you are new. Also, let me know any of your thoughts on anything that I mentioned in today's video. And yeah, until the next one, I'll see you guys in a bit. Alright, goodbye.